A basement in Russia. July 17, 1918, 11 people walked down these stairs. None of them walked back up. This is the Russian royal family, the Romanovs. Tsar Nicholas II, his wife Alexandra, their 5 children, the most powerful family in Russia. On that night in July, Bolshevik soldiers told them they were being moved to a safer location. It was a lie. They were led to the basement, told to line up against the wall, and then the shooting started. The youngest daughter, Anastasia, was 17 years old. She didn't die immediately. This is the story of the Romanov execution and what happened to the bodies. Nicholas Romanov became Tsar of Russia in 1894. He ruled over 1/6 of the world's land and 130 million people. His family had ruled Russia for 300 years. The Romanov dynasty, absolute power passed from father to son for 3 centuries. Nicholas believed God chose him to rule, that he was accountable to no one but heaven. But Nicholas wasn't a tyrant. By all accounts, he was a devoted father, a loving husband. He had 5 children, 4 daughters and 1 son, Alexei. Alexei had a blood disorder. The smallest injury could kill him. This made the family desperate, vulnerable. Enter Rasputin, a mystic, a healer. He claimed he could keep Alexei alive. And somehow he did. When doctors failed, Rasputin succeeded. The royal family became dependent on him. This made them look weak, superstitious, out of touch. The Russian people started asking, should a family like this be in charge? Then came World War I. Russia entered the war in 1914. By 1917, they'd lost millions of soldiers. The economy collapsed, food became scarce, and Nicholas. He was at the front playing commander. While his people starved, the anger built, and built, and built. February 1917, the Russian people had enough. Riots erupted in Petrograd, workers went on strike. Soldiers refused to fire on protesters. Within days, the 300-year Romanov dynasty was over. Nicholas abdicated, gave up the throne for himself and his son. The provisional government arrested the family, promised they'd be safe, that they'd eventually be exiled to Britain. But as the months passed, something changed. October 1917, the Bolsheviks seized power, led by Vladimir Lenin. The Bolsheviks were more radical, more violent. They didn't want exile for the Romanovs. They wanted them dead. The family was moved to Ekaterinburg, a city in the Ural Mountains, to a house the Bolsheviks called the House of Special Purpose. They were prisoners now, windows painted black, guards watching constantly. For 78 days, they waited. The children tried to stay hopeful. They read, played games, wrote in their diaries. Anastasia, the youngest daughter, wrote, "We are all still hoping and waiting." They didn't know what was coming. July 17, 1918, just after midnight. The family was woken up, told the area wasn't safe, that they needed to move to the basement while arrangements were made. Nicholas helped his son Alexei down the stairs. Alexandra carried pillows. The daughters followed. They had no idea. In the basement, Yakov Yurovsky, the Bolshevik commander, read a statement. "Your relatives have tried to save you. They have failed. We must now shoot you." Nicholas barely had time to say, "What?" before the shooting began. 11 people were in that basement. The 7 Romanovs, their doctor, 3 servants. The executioners fired repeatedly. The room filled with smoke. Bullets ricocheted off the walls. It took 20 minutes. 20 minutes for everyone to die. The daughters had sewn jewels into their clothing. Diamonds. Or if they escaped. The jewels acted as armor. The bullets didn't penetrate immediately. When the smoke cleared, some of the children were still moving, still breathing. The soldiers finished them with bayonets. The bodies were taken to a forest, Koptyaki Forest, 12 miles from the city. The Bolsheviks tried to burn them. When that failed, they poured acid on the faces to prevent identification. Then they buried them in a shallow grave, covered it with railway sleepers, and told no one. For years, the Soviet government denied the execution. They admitted Nicholas was dead, but the family, they claimed the wife and children had been moved to a safe location. This created rumors, conspiracy theories, people claiming to be the surviving Romanovs. The most famous was Anna Anderson. She claimed to be Anastasia. For decades, she insisted she'd survived, that she'd escaped. Some people believed her, some didn't. Without bodies, no one could prove anything. The mystery kept the Romanov story alive. In 1979, a Soviet filmmaker and a geologist began searching for the bodies in secret. If the KGB found out, they'd be arrested. They used old documents, testimony from one of the executioners before he died. And in the Koptyaki forest, they found something. They marked the location, but they couldn't excavate. Not while the Soviet Union still existed. It wasn't until 1991, when the USSR collapsed, that the bodies could finally be dug up. They found 9 skeletons in a shallow grave, right where the testimony said they'd be. DNA testing began immediately. They compared the bones to living Romanov relatives. To DNA from Prince Philip of Britain. He was related to Alexandra through his mother. The DNA matched. They'd found Nicholas, Alexandra, 3 of the 5 children. But 2 were missing, Alexei and one of the daughters, either Maria or Anastasia. The rumors started again. Had 2 of them survived after all? In 2007, amateur archaeologists found a second burial site, just 70 meters from the first. 2 more bodies, badly burned. Covered in acid, DNA testing confirmed it. The missing children, Alexei and Maria. All 11 people from that basement were accounted for. In 1998, the remains were given a state funeral, buried in St. Petersburg Cathedral. The Russian Orthodox Church canonized them as martyrs in 2000. And Anna Anderson, DNA proved she wasn't Anastasia, just a woman who'd believed her own lie. The Romanov family, once the most powerful family in Russia, executed in a basement, bodies hidden for 70 years, buried in acid and secrecy. They died because they represented the old world. The world the revolution wanted to destroy. And sometimes revolutions don't just change governments. They erase families, histories, entire dynasties, 7 people. In one basement, one night in July, 300 years of history, ended with bullets. This is Dark Thrones. From forgotten regimes, power doesn't last forever. And sometimes, when it ends in a basement. Subscribe if you want to understand what really happens when empires fall.